What's going on, everybody? Welcome in. It's the Wager Alarm live stream. I'm your host, Howard Bender. With me, of course, Craig Mish. It's bowl season, baby. We're having a good time. We're watching Syracuse right now, looking for them to beat up on West Virginia. But, Craig, we got, in addition to our super contest picks, which I'm super excited about here, we're 13-2 over the last 3 weeks. We've moved into we're like 540th and out of 3,100. Not bad for our first time in the super contest here.
No, not bad at all. Not bad at all. And had we gone with the extra pick last week, it would have been the Raiders on Monday, and they won. So, yeah, we've been on the right side going over the last month, and now it's very tricky because a lot of the lines from the super contest have changed significantly with news that is announced that some players are in or players are out. And we're seeing some of the same thing in the college bowl games. People don't pay that close attention, but guys are getting suspended left and right for these games. And truth be told, while the bowl season has been fun because we get to do the picks, the reality is the games have been awful. There have not been a lot of close games. In fact, the spread is not really factored into almost any game that's been played so far. They've been blowouts one way or the other. So hopefully we're at basically the halfway point of the bowl season, and then we have just so many games that are going to be played tomorrow, and then New Year's Day, and then the championship games. So, in fact, I think we're past halfway point at this point. So,
yeah, I think we are too.
But either way, yeah, we're just kind of monitoring a lot of the games and just kind of hoping that a lot of the plays that we gave out in the live stream where we previewed all the games are pretty much still holding. I think overall, if you look at the record, we're above 500 again. So it just comes down to where we'll be at the end. So
that's not even counting in the leans that we've had. And then we've had a couple of leans on a number of games where we said don't necessarily know if we would make that bet, but we're leaning that way, and it's definitely worked out.
I call it how it is. You could go back and watch the live stream and just go through every single pick that we gave one way or the other. We're above 500. I mean, look, there's still a long way to go, and we're coming off last night picking Vanderbilt. I did. And then picking Purdue today, which were two horrible picks. But overall, well, actually, the Vanderbilt pick wasn't horrible. They just lost. But overall, it'll be above 500 so far. And then we'll just have to kind of see how things play the rest of the way. So we'll see. Yeah. But we have a game going on right now, as you mentioned, with Syracuse and West Virginia. And Syracuse is now laying points. Of course, when we did this, they were underdogs, a point or a point and a half. And that's changed significantly because Will Grier isn't playing. But the quarterback for Syracuse threw a bad interception, and the game right now is 14-12 there. And then tonight we have the Iowa State-Washington State game, and then so many games tomorrow, and then so many games on January the 1st. And then, of course, we have the championship on the 7th, and that'll be our final college live stream.
We will be continuing the live stream, though, every Friday night through the end of the NFL season. And then from beyond the NFL season, we'll probably be moving into sticking with a weekly stream every Friday night, talking about a number of the MLB props that we're seeing. We'll talk about free agents who haven't signed, if there's still notable ones out there. And then, of course, by mid-February, the wins totals are usually released, so that we can actually then turn around, kind of discuss a number of the teams there, a number of the wins totals there, maybe lay down some bets early, based on what we know about the teams and what we know about potential more player movement going on through there. So let's say hello to BetDSI, our sponsors for the show here. Sorry guys, the hat's inside. The wife took it and borrowed it from me the other day, and now it's inside. So but don't worry, because BetDSI will talk about you all day long, all day, every day. Go to fantasyalarm.com/bet. Use the promo code ALARM100. Get a 100% match on your deposit with BetDSI. And I mean, Craig, you tell everybody what BetDSI has to offer, because we were talking the other day on the Wager Alarm show on Sirius. They had a number of props there that were looking really fun to play.
Yeah, you can play virtually every single NFL or college football prop, in addition to all the daily college basketball games, futures as well. So if you go over there, as Howard mentioned, they'll match your first deposit, I believe, up to $2,500. So
$2,500. You
got to use our promo code, though, to get in there, and make sure that you tag us on Twitter at Craig Mish, at RotoBuzzGuy. They also sponsor my live stream for Swings and Mishes, the baseball live stream that I do as well. Helped out with everything that I did at the winter meetings. So make sure that you go check them out and let them know that we sent you over there, and use our promo code in order to get that first deposit bonus.
Again, guys, it's fantasyalarm.com/bet. Promo code is alarm100, ALARM 100. All right, let's get to it. Let's start talking a little college football. Iowa State, Washington State tonight. The totals moved up a little bit. I think it would start off at like 54.5. It's up to 57 right now.
Yep.
You talked about Washington State's disappointment of being in this bowl game, I think, or was it Washington that was disappointed?
Yeah, no, Washington got to the Rose Bowl, so they're thrilled. They had a bad year, but they just won that last game. It's called the Apple Cup when Washington plays Washington State. That was the game that was played in the snow, and a lot of people are big fans of the quarterback from Washington State. His name's Gardner Minshew. He's got a big mustache. He's had a great year for them, but they've been a little bit hit or miss offensively. And I think that Iowa State will be able to run the ball. The total is 56. I don't really have a strong lean on the total, but I do like Iowa State for the game. I'd love to get 3 online and get +3. Right now it's 2.5. That's the last game left. As we mentioned earlier, Auburn clobbered Purdue. I did not see that coming, but again, the SEC loses to the Big 12 last night in Baylor, and then the SEC comes strong today and beats a Big 10 team in Purdue. And then, of course, we have 5 games tomorrow.
5 games tomorrow are going to be great. I mean, we could talk a little Florida, Michigan, only because I know you're a big Gators guy here. But, I mean, tomorrow's really like all of this has just been the appetizer leading up to. I mean, let's face it, Notre Dame, Clemson, Oklahoma, Alabama. Give me your thoughts on the three appetizers there real quick. We don't have to spend a whole world of time on those guys.
Right. Well, South Carolina, we'll start with them. They play at noon tomorrow, 9 Pacific. That line was 5.5, and now it's 4 for some reason. So I'm going to have to check and see, why this line shifted so much in Virginia's favor. Maybe somebody that hasn't been announced has been suspended or something like that. But I would lean towards South Carolina. Florida, Michigan. Michigan's losing a lot of players in this game. The Gators have played strong in virtually every game this season outside of the Missouri game. They also lost to Kentucky, but Kentucky turned out to be a pretty good team, so no scoffing at that. The line seems high. The total seems high, too. It's 51, probably under, and a pick of the Gators there. The Arizona Bowl, I really don't have a strong opinion on this one because I haven't seen these two teams play all that often. Arkansas State and Nevada, and the line is -1.5 for Nevada. But let's be honest. The bowl season is great because it passes the time during the holidays to get to the point where we are tomorrow, where the 2 games that are going to be played. In Dallas, the first game is Notre Dame Clemson, and then Oklahoma Alabama plays in my backyard here in South Florida. In fact, the Oklahoma buses have already stopped me a couple times while I'm driving right down the street from me. This is how close I am to where Oklahoma is staying. So starting off with Notre Dame Clemson, the money is coming in on Notre Dame. Clemson is now a 12-point favorite. The total's 56.5. Statistically speaking, trend-wise, teams that are undefeated going and playing in the playoff or the national championship usually cover the spread at a very high ratio. Also, Clemson, to me, they have the athleticism. I do think that they have a good chance to beat Alabama in the championship, but I think this is the best Notre Dame team that we've seen in a long time, and they haven't lost in, I believe, a year. I think there's just too many points in this game, and I don't think that Clemson is going to run them out of the field. So my opinion is to take the points and take Notre Dame. And if you're going to do it, you better do it now because this may go down even more. And look, money is always going to come in, Howard, on Notre Dame no matter what. They're like America's team of college football. We know this. People who never went to Notre Dame are fans of Notre Dame, and they bet on Notre Dame too. But that being said, I do think that Notre Dame has a chance in this game to keep it close. Win? I don't know, maybe, but I would take the points and take the 12.
Yeah, I like that. I like taking the points there. We've had a couple of conversations already about Clemson. We talked last live stream about the suspension of Dexter Lawrence, and that's not really affecting your thought process on this too much. I question just how young this team is, how loaded with freshmen are, and does that have any kind of an effect on having the bowl experience? I don't know who from Notre Dame does, but, for the same token, it's very easy.
Notre Dame has probably played the stronger schedule. Yeah, I mean, listen, Clemson has destroyed some teams. Yeah. Georgia Tech, what did they show in the bowl? Nothing. They got killed. Syracuse, they beat them by 4, but that was when the quarterback got hurt. They beat Wake Forest 63-3. NC State 41-7. FSU's been a nothing, 59-10. Louisville's been horrible, 77-16. Boston College 27-7. Duke 35-6. They just haven't played a strong enough schedule to know what they're going to do against a team like Notre Dame. And on the flip side, Notre Dame beat Michigan 24-17. They beat that same Wake Forest team by 30. They beat Stanford by 21. They beat Virginia Tech by 22. They beat Northwestern by 10. They beat Syracuse 36-3. They beat USC 24-17. Look, Clemson may win, but Notre Dame has played a very strong schedule, and the ACC has been down this year. So I'm going to just take those points, put them in my pocket, and hope for the best.
I love it. All right, Oklahoma against Bama.
Tough one.
There's little reason to think that Bama isn't just going to kind of run the table. I mean, there's very little reason to think. What were we talking about a couple of weeks ago with the game against LSU, and they ended up shutting out LSU? It was like over Halloween weekend, and I remember I was like sitting there, I'm like watching some of it because I was in Vegas at that point. Yeah, it was like it was.
And then the following
shocking.
week, I took Mississippi State plus 23.5. Bama beat them 24-0.
Yeah.
So they shut out LSU and Mississippi State 53-0. Those are two really good teams, and they beat Auburn 52-21.
Auburn, who just pasted up 63 points today.
Georgia was the game that they had a chance that they could have lost, and Georgia, I think, is much better than Oklahoma. I do. I think Georgia's much better. I would not get in on this game. It's just my opinion because of the Kyler Murray factor. I don't know. Maybe Oklahoma, they're going to have to go toe-to-toe with this team, but they haven't stopped anyone all season long. Their defense is last in the country. So it's just not far-fetched to think that if Alabama shuts down Oklahoma a little bit, this could be very ugly. This could be 42-10 or 42-20. So listen, Nick Saban, in terms of covering the spread in these bowl games, has not done well historically, and in the national championship has not done well. But I don't think that I could just take these 14 points and hope, because I know that Notre Dame can play a little defense. I'm not sure that Oklahoma can, and it could be 17-0 quick. I'm just not going to do it. If I had to, the lean would be Alabama. I would lean.
Yeah, that's how I would lean too. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to screw around with it. I like, 14 points to me, after watching them shut down all those teams like that, it just doesn't do anything.
And why is the line 14? It's 14 for a reason. Because they want you to take,
they want you to take Oklahoma.
Of course, oh my gosh, 14 points. The other one is a little shifty. The other line is like, whoa, like, okay. like this is not indicating that Clemson is going to blow them out. What this is indicating is Clemson, could be up 38-20 with 5 minutes to go against Notre Dame. And guess what? They score a touchdown, go for 2, 38-28. We're in the house with a cover. So let's see what happens in this one. And then, of course, we'll have the championship game on the 7th. But that basically closes out the college bowl season. How is that possible? Oh no, the first.
All these games on New Year's Eve. You've got
quick. Let me hit those real quick.
Virginia Tech, Stanford, Pittsburgh. You want me to go through them? You can share some thoughts there.
Yeah, Mississippi State, Iowa. I think I leaned under 42.5. The Outback Bowl is Kentucky, Penn State. I think I took Kentucky plus the points.
Yes, you did.
LSU, UCF. You got to take UCF. That's a foregone conclusion. Get those 7.5 points. They prove everybody wrong every game. Washington, Ohio State. I mean, I guess this is the win one for Urban Meyer on the way out, but that didn't work for Georgia Tech. Tough one to call in the Rose Bowl there. And then look, I know Georgia's 13-point favorites. I don't like Texas at all. I am taking Texas. I think that this is the worst spot for Georgia, having to watch these games the night before. And they're the 5th team in the country, and watch, hypothetically, let's say Alabama blow out Oklahoma. What is Georgia's motivation in this game? And I know, look, you sometimes look. What was Auburn's motivation? I have no idea, but they destroyed Purdue. But I think you got to still play that card in these games. Just because 1 or 2 games don't go the way that you think, You can't buck a trend that's been successful for a long time. And what is Georgia's point? What are they accomplishing in this game? And Texas is huge for them. They haven't been in a big bowl game like this in a while. So I'm going to take the 13 points in that game.
I love it. All right, what about the Northwestern game? Northwestern, Utah.
That's my favorite one.
Yeah. All right. So
how did I miss that one? What is that?
I don't know. So the line's at like 7 right now. It's it started off. It was Utah minus 8.5.
All these games on the 31st. I'm missing too. Well, yikes! We have so many
minus
games.
7.
You know what? We don't have a lot of time to go over these, but I will tell you this: if you go to the live stream, the college football one, we reviewed every single game. I skipped completely for the 31st for some reason. My favorite one of all is taking Northwestern plus 7.5 against Utah. Utah's missing all kinds of players going into this game. I don't know why the line is as high as it is. Northwestern plays this kind of grinded out type game. I think they have a chance to beat Utah. I do. And then from an interest point of view, Michigan State, Oregon, finally now that the NFL's over for a lot of fantasy, at least you can get to finally, if you haven't watched college all year, you can watch Herbert, who's going to stay for another year at Oregon. But this should be a good game because this will be his first real test against a good defense in Michigan State.
All right, let me ask you one game, though, only because the line has just gotten crazy here, and that's Oklahoma State against Missouri. Missouri was favored by 4.5 when this opened, and now it's minus 9 already.
Oklahoma State has no business being this big of an underdog in any game. They're not. They had a bad year. They're not that bad. Missouri's just been on this absolute tear offensively, but this is too many points. I would take the points. I would take. All right,
beautiful. All right, so yeah, guys, definitely check out the Wager Alarm College Bowl live stream. Just go to our YouTube channel. Just go you can search for Fantasy Alarm or Wager Alarm on YouTube, and Craig and I will have that entire special for you.
Right. There's one other thing I want to mention in the Stanford Pitt game. Bryce Love, who will be one of the top 2 or 3 running backs taken in the NFL draft, pulled out of this game, so he's out. And the line did shift to minus 4.5. So Stanford no longer 6.5; they're 4.5. That just happened last week.
All right, there you go. You ready to dive into a little NFL now?
Yeah.
Do a little super contest picks here. All right, let's do it. I would say out of the 16 weeks that we've gone, I would say your first pick, the first one you throw at me every single time. I would say you're probably like 14 of 16, 13 of 16 something right now. I'm liking that. Now, the first game you threw at me here was the Giants against the Cowboys. At least that's the first one that was listed by you.
But my favorite game is the Browns.
But your favorite game is the Browns. So let's lead with the Browns. Let's talk about your favorite game first, and then we'll move on. Yeah,
the Browns, to me, are the team that nobody should want to play right now. They are just playing great football. Look, the Ravens are playing great defensively, but Mayfield and Chubb, I mean, they have just got it going on right now. And the Ravens, while they did go last week and beat the Chargers, I'm not so sure that the Browns can't pull this upset. If I'm Pittsburgh, I'm going all in this week and trying to win. It's just the line is too high. The Ravens should not be laying 6 to anyone. As an underdog, the Ravens are the best betting team in the NFL for years, but not the same as a favorite because they always play close games. The thing that's in Baltimore's favorite is obviously the kicker. And it's always a huge advantage having Tucker in a 23-20 game. But again, in a 23-20 game, not a 6-point favorite. No, I think Browns have a shot to win. I would take those 6 points for sure. And I don't know what the line is right now. Has it changed at all since then? It's like 6.5.
I don't know. Let me just check it out right now because I mean, listen, it's
5.5.
If you're looking at an incentive here, I mean, listen, the thing for the Ravens, I mean, this is a tough spot for them, okay? Because if the Ravens lose this game and the Steelers win, Ravens are out. Steelers go to the playoffs.
And I also want to point this out, and you may ask a question like, I like to go betting against the teams that are out of it and don't care, but on the flip side, I don't get so enamored with the team that needs to win in the end. Like, what is that such a big deal? They've needed to win all season long. These are the worst teams trying to get into the playoffs. Listen, don't get me wrong. The Ravens are good, okay? They're a good team, but they're not. They don't deserve to be 6-point favorites, and people are running to Baltimore. Oh, well, they need to win. If they don't win, then they're out. Well, that means that they didn't play well enough during the regular season to be in. Same situation as Pittsburgh. Same situation as Tennessee. Same situation as the Titans or as the Colts.
Colts.
So I'm sorry, but no. I'm gonna take the points here, and Ravens may win, but I don't think they're winning by 6.
Yeah, no. See, that's the thing. If the Ravens win, it's inside a field goal for me.
Or
like
4.
it's. Yeah, I'll just go with the inside the field goal range for me here, just in the sense of Justin Tucker kicking one at the very last second to give him the win. I can't see.
And the motivation factor, I can find 10 teams on this list that don't care. The Browns care. They want to win. They want to win this game.
Well, they've got the chance of finishing above 500 for the first time in what, like 3 decades?
Look, the Lions don't care. The Packers don't care. The Redskins don't care. The Jets don't care. The Saints don't care. The Panthers don't care. The Raiders, I mean, I can keep going. The Browns care, and they're getting 6 points. Easy one.
Score. I like it. All right, well, we said the Giants going up against the Cowboys, so we're given. We're laying 6.5 here, but
yeah, you got to do it. You got to go one team that's playing with all their starters against another team that's not. We saw the Giants, how well they played against Indianapolis. They still can score. They can score without Beckham. Barkley's going to play, probably going to play the whole game. The Cowboys are going to play no one. They're not going to play the quarterback. They're not going to play the running back. Cooper's not going to play. I doubt any of their defensive players play. And you know what? Maybe the score is 7-3 Cowboys at the half. And so maybe you want to bet the Giants in the second half, but I think that they're going to score some points in this one and try to leave on a good note, which does derail some of the draft stuff for these teams. But I don't see Dallas having any interest in showing up for this game. Just get out healthy and get ready for the following week.
Yeah, exactly.
Why would they show anything in this game? It makes no sense.
No. And people were talking about maybe Ezekiel Elliott, worried about the rushing title. He's 236 yards ahead of Saquon Barkley. He can sit on the sidelines, watch this game in its entirety, and maybe if Saquon Barkley's at 200 rushing yards, then maybe he sees about possibly going into the game. But even that
game for the Cowboys, it's nothing.
Easily a preseason game. So all right. So I like it. Browns getting 6, Giants giving 6.5 in this one here as well. Next game that we were looking at, Falcons.
Falcons +1.
Falcons +1 against the Bucks. Now, listen, for me, I look at the Bucks here and I'm like, okay, Dirk Cutter, his job is on the line. He deserves to be fired anyway. He's already now talking about Ryan Griffin coming in and taking snaps, which to me just says we're giving up on this. The narrative for the Falcons, interestingly enough, the rumor mill's swirling around that Sarkisian and Manuel are both on their way outs, both coordinators here. I don't think the Falcons trying to finish the season off on a high note and winning this game outright against the Bucks, I don't think that's beyond the realm of possibility. It doesn't save anybody's job. I think if anything, Matt Ryan has a good game here. He's got Julio Jones. They get some surprising groundwork here from like Brian Hill. If Tevin Coleman's not playing, I just can't see the Falcons being any kind of an underdog to Tampa Bay here.
Yeah, Tampa's not good. They didn't play well last week. They got the backdoor cover against Dallas in the Super Contest, but everybody who bet it got a push. The Falcons are just more talented, and thankfully, they're playing well. If they were not playing well, this would be impossible to go with Atlanta, but they have finally, it took them all season, but they have finally turned it around offensively. So we'll take our point there, and we'll take the Falcons on the road.
All right, what's the next game we were taking? The Bills?
Yeah, see, this is a strange one. The Bills are now up to 5.5 or 6 over Miami. So, look, another team that's supremely motivated to win. They're at home. The Dolphins are a wreck.
Horrible.
I don't know who is going to coach. I don't know who is going to play. They have a lot of injuries on the offensive line, a lot of injuries at running back. No one really knows what their state of mind is in this game. I would be tempted to stay away if the line was 5.5. Like, I don't know. Bills shouldn't be 5.5 or 6 over anyone. But at 3.5 and looking at the board of teams that want to win, Buffalo does seem to play well when they're at home in the cold weather, and the Dolphins do not. So it seems pretty simple to me. I'm just shocked this line climbed as it has. It almost tells you maybe something's going on, that Miami just doesn't care at all. But
Miami doesn't care at all. Like, the last thing that Miami needs to do is to play well, and that saves Adam Gase. He's already been throwing Ryan Tannehill under the bus, saying that the Dolphins are ready to move on from him.
It was his choice to bring him back.
I know, and I'm telling you, now he's like, oh, well, that was my mistake there. But it was his fault. So, again, I think Miami is done. I think they're completely cooked. I don't think Gase deserves to be a head coach in the NFL. And we go on from there. I'm perfectly fine laying points. We're only laying 3.5 here. Like, that's the best part of the Super Contest, that we're only laying 3.5.
Yeah, and Buffalo, even if they win, Matt, our producer, made a good point about them having Josh Allen. So they're not drafting a quarterback. If they win, so what do they lose? They fall 1 pick or 2 picks down. It's actually much bigger for Miami to lose. There's a huge difference between going 8-8 and 7-9. It could cost them like 5 or 6 picks in the draft. They are better off losing in this game, especially with it meaning nothing. Buffalo wants to kind of win on a high note. I get it, and they're at home, and they don't want to disappoint the crowd. But I just can't find. Look, we went against the Dolphins last week against Jacksonville. I thought that was a wacky. Like, how could Miami be a favorite over anyone in the NFL? And then here Buffalo is the same thing. Buffalo's a -4 at home against Miami. So that'll be our third pick. Will be the Bills.
That's our 4th pick, actually.
4th pick. Sorry, my bad.
It is our 4th pick, which is great. Brings us to our last pick here, and we're going with the Bears underdog. I know that I felt like I threw this out to you, Craig, and I thought you were going to give me a little pushback on it. I really did, because it's the Vikings, and the Vikings are at home, and the Vikings need to win. And, in order to get into the playoffs, my feeling about it was that the Bears defense still rock solid. They've got the potential. They could scoreboard watch a little bit and see that whether or not they can get that, that top seeding. This just feels like that typical game for Kirk Cousins and the Minnesota Vikings to just choke, blow it. Eagles win. Eagles get into the playoffs. Vikings go home, and we're all on the Nick Foles train again.
Yeah, I think the Vikings are going to win, but I agree with you in this sense. I think there will. First of all, the Vikings are running the ball a lot more than they were in the past. That's working into your favor here for taking the Bears. But not only that, these two teams are going to play each other again next week. So, provided that the Vikings win, all they got to do is win by 1. Like, that's it. And I think that's what's going to end up happening here. I think it's going to be a very low-scoring, horrible 17-16 type game. I do think Minnesota will win and get in. But why would either of these two teams show anything in this game? I suppose the only reason would be as if the Eagles ended up beating the Redskins, and then that would put more pressure, certainly on Minnesota to win, but they only have to win by 1. 4 is just too many. And the Bears, by the way, probably will keep their defensive players in. The offensive players won't play, but the defensive players will. It'll be a close game, man. Low-scoring, close game. 17-16, 20-19, 13-10. Ugly game, but Minnesota, I think, wins by 1.
All right, I like it.
But we take the points. Take the points.
Give me the points. Give me 4.5. So Bears.
Yeah.
What's up? What?
No, I just wanted to talk about the last game that we're not using.
Our 6th game, the infamous 6th.
I don't want to say that my 6th game. I know that you kind of like the Colts too a little bit, and I do too. But let me just say this: something is wrong with the line in this game. It's off. I think Tennessee may win. I think they may win because everything is so stacked up against the Titans. The Colts feel like they should be 5 or 6 point favorites, and they're only 3. So I don't know. Something smells fishy here. I think Tennessee may win. I think Tennessee may win this game. I know that, and the Colts, luck is never lost. Like, everything is just working so against the Titans. All the money will be against the Titans, and then they need to build another casino. So everybody loses. I think Tennessee is the pick. I do. I think Mariota plays. I think Tennessee wins. And you know why? Because it's the most unpopular pick on the board. Everyone's going to take the Colts.
That is not a game I want to take.
No, I just don't even want to do anything with it. I want us to watch it Sunday and enjoy it, and that's
it. Yes, exactly. But we do have a 6th game that we did discuss, actually.
Yes, we did.
And if somebody wants to check out that, you and I both like the Jags.
I think the Jaguars, I'll tell you this, between Jacksonville and the Browns, one of those two teams is going to win outright this week. One of those teams is going to win the game. I don't know which one it is, but someone is winning that game. I don't trust Houston at all. And in fact, going into the playoffs, I mean, there's no way we're taking Houston, right? Like, Houston's going to be at home in the first game as a favorite against who?
Yeah.
Like, Indy? I'm taking Indy all day, right? It'll be +3. Indy wins that game.
Well, if it's Tennessee.
Tennessee wins the game.
Still.
I don't like Houston. I don't like them at all. I'm
not a huge fan.
Do you realize what Houston had to do to stay in that play that Watson made on 3rd and 9? He was tackled, he was sacked, he threw the ball straight up in the air, and they ended up scoring a touchdown. Houston ran off a bunch of wins in the regular season, a lot of lucky wins, some really bad coaching decisions by the other team. I don't think O'Brien's a really great tactician during the game either. They have the most talented players on the field, whoever they play against, because the quarterback and Watt on the other side are going to be the two most talented players that they have. And I, let me not denigrate Hopkins too. Hopkins will be the great wide receiver too. But just for some reason, that season does not smell right to me. I think they're going to go down.
I hate Houston's secondary. I hate their pass defense overall. I mean, they've got a great pass rush, but the problem is that the pass rush gets in there, and as soon as the quarterback releases it, the cornerbacks just don't have the wherewithal to stay with the receivers here. I kind of feel like Blake Bortles just chucks the ball up and down the field as much as possible, and he hits Dante Moncrief and Dede Westbrook and Keelan Cole, all of these, like rando touchdown. James O'Shaughnessy. I'll tell you what, if you play fantasy, James O'Shaughnessy, the tight end, he's getting in the box this week. Why? Because Houston can't guard the tight end. They've never been able to guard the tight end.
Houston, it's just too many points for Houston to give, and they're going to be playing. So who would they potentially play? It would be the Colts, and then who's the other wild card team that I'm missing?
The Chargers are the number 5 seed.
Okay, so the Texans would get the worst seed of all. It would be the winner of the Colts Titans, right? And that team's going to go to Houston and win.
Ooh, baby! All right, well there you go, guys. Our super contest picks here. We've got the Giants -6.5. We got the Browns +6. We got the Bills, and we're laying 3.5 against the Dolphins. We're getting the Bears +4.5 here against the Vikings. And then what was the other one there? Which one am I missing? The Falcons +1 over the that team.
The Buccaneers.
The Buccaneers.
Yeah, just for fun, if I was doing the rest, Chiefs Raiders, I have no opinion. Saints Panthers, I wouldn't touch it. I mean, I don't even know what to think in that game. Patriots Jets, same. I do think the Steelers are going to destroy the Bengals. That I do think.
I do too. I also think that the Patriots are going to destroy the Jets. This is
he's
to me.
He's playing good. The quarterback's playing good for the Jets.
Right. And I know he's playing well, but there's just it's Belichick against a rookie quarterback. The game doesn't mean anything for the Jets. They're better off losing anyway. And I think the Patriots need to make a statement going into the playoffs here, being like, 4 seed? Okay, fine. AFC Championship.
The line's 13.5. I don't know. The Patriots are going to run the ball a lot. I don't know. We'll see.
Michelle. Jets giving up mad yardage.
We'll see. But I do think that Pittsburgh is in front of their home crowd going to take it to the Bengals. I do think that would be such an embarrassment if they lost that game. But either way, we're not going to touch those games. But I hope everybody enjoys the games this weekend. For sure, and we'll be back here next Friday. Is that the
next Friday? Yeah. We're going to be off for the New Year's Eve, New Year's Day run. We're not going to be doing that, which is why we gave you that look, and you can go take a look at the complete live stream for all the bowl games that we picked. That's over there. You can check that out, and then we'll be back next week on Friday, Craig. So, Craig, have a happy New Year, dude. And same to you. Happy New Year. Hopefully, Syracuse will pull this out. They're losing again. So, not good. I got to end it on that note, man. You're like Debbie Downer all of a sudden here. I'm Craig Mish. But that's going to do it for us here on the Wager Alarm live stream. Big thanks to Matt Sells, our producer. Big thanks, of course, to Craig for being here. Big thanks to, you for watching. How about that? Thanks very much. Good luck in all your wagering. We'll catch you next time.